welcome back to MarianaMasBooks. My name is Mariana and today I am here in a different spot. You will excuse the lighting, the background, the headphones, everything. As I mentioned in the previous video that I uploaded, I am in the middle of remodeling my bedroom. I will not show you everything around me because everything is a mess. I am currently in my living room. I am a nomad in my own home. That is why I haven't been uploading a lot of videos because it's difficult to film. As I said, I'm currently in the living room and it's difficult to find moments when I can film here, but here I am and hello. Today I have for you guys a different kind of tag. It's called the Introduce Your BookTube Buddy Tag and it was created by Christy at Dostoevsky and Space and Victoria at A Musical Bookworm. Wow, sorry, that was bad. Christy at Dostoevsky in Space and Victoria at A Musical Bookworm. As the title of the tag suggests, the point of this tag is to introduce one of your booktube buddies. This is a fun tag because it consists of an interview that you make to one of your booktube buddies. So there are different ways of making this tag. You could answer the questions and then your buddy could upload your video in their channel and you could upload your buddy's video in your channel. Or you could do a Zoom interview and then both of you could post the Zoom interview in both of your channels. Or you could do what Christy and Victoria did and what I'm doing today with my buddy Cara, which I will introduce in a bit, which is that we had a Zoom interview where we interviewed each other, and I am going to post my interview to Cara in my channel, which is this video today, and Cara is going to post her interview to me in her channel. The questions are all about your reading and booktube life, so I won't go deep into that because you can just watch the interviews. I will just do a quick intro into why I am introducing you to Cara, who Cara is, what she does, and why she is a special booktube friend of mine. The main reason why you should care about why she's such a special friend to me is because Cara is the one who convinced me to open my channel. So if you like my channel, you have Cara to thank. She is a very omnivore reader. She reads a lot of genre fiction, but she also reads a lot of contemporary, and I started watching Cara's channel because she reads a lot of middle grade books and picture books, and she recommends both middle grade and picture books. Also YA and adult. She reads across all age categories, and that is something that is very important to her. And in the interview we will expand on that, on how we started bonding, became friends through the comments. We're both Catholics, we bonded over that. All of that story will be told in the interview. But after we became friends, and this is a part that I think I forgot to mention, after we became friends, I was one day telling Cara that I wanted to open a channel, but there were some concerns I had about it, and she gave me a very good solution, and she really encouraged me to open my channel, and I did, and I'm so glad I did. It's one of the most fun things I've ever done, and so I am super happy that I did and that Cara convinced me. So thank you so much, Cara. I will leave it at that because this is a long video. I'm not going to edit the interview a lot because I don't want to edit Cara. So I will just leave you with the interview, and afterwards you can go to her channel and check out my interview. Okay, first I'll introduce you. I'll introduce you based on how I came across your channel and how we met and why we became friends. So okay, I'll try to make this quick. It's going to be hard. So I did covered booktube, first of all. And then I don't know, like, you know how the algorithm works. Like, you start getting recommendations based on the types of things that you like. And somehow, sometime, your channel was recommended to me, and I started watching it, and I really loved it because I've always been interested. I mean, when I first, I know you don't only read middle grade. This chaotic. Okay, hi everyone. Cara reads a lot of middle grade. um, but that's how, like, that's the first thing that jumped to me from your channel, because personally I have always been drawn to middle grade stories, but I had never actually read a middle grade book as an adult.
Mhm.
And when I found your channel, I discovered that was possible, and I was like, oh wow, I really love this concept. And I feel like we started commenting back and forth, from me commenting on your channel. And then you had recommended a book for children that was about Catholic saints. And I'm a Catholic too. And so we started bonding over both of us being Catholic, and also like leftist Catholics. So we started bonding over that. Then we started bonding over Twitter. And eventually we just started Zooming once in a while, and Voxer and stuff. And here we are. So
Yes.
that would be my introduction. I think the point was introducing your channel for people who want to find your channel, but I think that through the interview, that will be evident, the type of things you like. So I'm going to leave like that, the introduction. And now the first question would be, let me check. Okay, yeah. So what kinds of genres do you like?
Yeah. So I read a lot of different things. That's one of the things that's really important to me and that I just genuinely enjoy in reading. Um, like fantasy and historical fiction, I think are my most read, but I also read a lot of contemporary, a lot of nonfiction. I sprinkle in some sci-fi, some romance. Like I read a lot. And I also read across like all age ranges, which are not genres.
Yes, yes.
But I do think it's relevant to like I think that's another way that I like to read just very widely. And I think that's really important for adult readers to read books that are intended for other audiences. And there's some great books there, so it's a win-win.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So the next question is, have your preferences changed over the course of your time on BookTube?
Yeah, I think they have. I think that something I've noticed since joining BookTube is that when my preferences change, they tend to get broader, which I think is very cool. Like I know that some people say that they're less into certain genres than they used to be, and I get that, but not me. Like, I feel like I never used to read picture books
Mhm,
ever. And like that, like kind of like you were saying for middle grade, it just hadn't computed as something that like adults could do if they didn't have kids, you know?
mhm, mhm,
But you can. And so that's like an example of something that I don't know when I would have started reading those if I wasn't on BookTube. Um, and then also just in terms of certain genres, like I'm a scaredy cat. I'm not a horror person, but I have actually barely just dipped my toes into a couple that I've really loved. Like a Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, I think is fantastic. Um, so that's definitely something I don't think I would have tried before BookTube. So in general, I think it's definitely broadened my taste. Like I've gotten just from reviewing books, I've gotten better about being specific about things that I like and dislike in books. But in terms of the things that I pick up and the things that I enjoy, that has actually gotten wider, if that makes sense.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, perfect. I think I have a similar experience, and I'm also a scaredy cat. And I love the Mexican Gothic cover, but I've been too scared to read it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, what kinds of videos do you enjoy making?
So that is one area where I feel like I would like to be broader. Like I do post some like more creative recommendations videos that I really enjoy, but for some reason I always seem to have those ideas and I don't get around to filming them until much later. But I do like the staple content. I do wrap-ups and reviews. I actually really enjoyed tags. We've discussed this. I think that booktube tags get a bad reputation, but I think they're really fun and they can be really informative depending on how you do them. Like I like to do mine kind of like recommendations videos, and I always make an effort to not just pick the same books every time. So I think they can be good content. Um, and I also have started adding in more of my other interests to my content. Like I also knit and I really love makeup. And so I've kind of started combining those things with books. I do like a series where I pair books with like different artists' paintings to recommend so that I can like talk about the vibe of a book. And so that's like a creative series that I really love doing. And I'd like to do more stuff like that too.
I really love your combination videos. In general, when people do that, I really love when people combine two different interests.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question is, okay, I'm not the best interviewer. What is your process for gathering your thoughts on a book? Okay, yeah, that's a hard question.
I know. It's a good one though. For one thing, okay, it depends what kind of video I'm doing. Like if it's a standalone review, I tend to do a lot more notes. So after I finish the book, I just kind of start writing down like kind of the order that I want to talk about things in. A lot of times, what will end up happening is I talk about the things that I like, and at the end, like I don't know why that structure just usually makes more sense to me. And then at the end, I'll talk about things that I don't like as much, but not always. Sometimes, especially if I have really mixed feelings about a book, it'll kind of just be like the order of what I talk about will be organized, but it's like I talk about the characters and there's some things I love and some things I don't. Um, if it's for a different kind of video, like if it's for a wrap up, for example, I do notes, but I do fewer notes. Um, and for that one, I think more about, I mean, I guess one of the reasons my wrap ups tend to be really long is that I kind of do them like reviews. But in general, it's more concise, especially if I've already done a standalone review. Um, yeah, and then if it's something like a tag or like a recommendations video, I usually won't do notes. It'll just be kind of like general, like I know the books I'm going to talk about, but I don't plan out what I'm going to say necessarily. So yeah, it depends a lot on the kind of video.
Okay, yeah, same. I think I have a really hard time gathering my thoughts about a book.
It's gotten a lot easier for me once I've started actually doing somewhat uh not even detailed, but like some kind of Goodreads review for
Mhm.
myself. I have noticed that makes a big difference in how easy it is for me to like gather my thoughts.
Yeah,
Do I always do that? No, but sometimes.
but you try.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question is, what is a bookish goal of yours?
I would really love to do some kind of interview with one of my favorite authors like Frances Harding, Anna Marie McLemore, Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Like I think that would be a really cool experience. Um, Other than that, I kind of feel like there's a lot of people on BookTube who also eventually want to write and publish,
Mhm.
and I don't. So I'm kind of just over here like I love reading books.
Yeah.
Like occasionally
Same.
occasionally I'll get this random idea for like if I were to write a book, that would be cool, but like that's it. So I
Yeah.
don't feel like I don't have the I'd love to be published someday. I'm like I'm just gonna be here cheering for all you guys.
Yeah. It's funny because I do have the dream of being published one day, or self-published, whatever, but not in fiction
Mm,
and not in English.
mm-hmm.
So I have been writing all my life, and I do write constantly for my job. And I would like to, and people tell me that I should write a book, but it's not fiction. I
Yeah.
could not imagine myself like I don't have the brain and the type of intelligence that is required to put a story together. And I'm in awe of people who do that, really.
Yeah. It's like I feel like I'm pretty good at like reviewing books, but um yeah, like I don't know how that would translate to actually writing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, the next question is what other hobbies do you like? You kind of mentioned them in another
Yeah.
question, but
Yeah, so I did mention that knitting and makeup, those are probably my other two like primary
mhm,
interests,
mhm.
aside from books, and I've been really enjoying kind of mixing those into my content. Like me and a couple friends have been doing like crafting sprints that are just super chill. And if you want to craft something and hang out with us, you can. You can use them as like I was gonna say reading sprints. We talk a lot more in them than reading sprints. There's usually
Yeah.
like a lot of talking and then like one actual silent sprint. But theoretically, you could use them for reading. So that's been really fun. And yeah, I really love makeup, especially like eyeshadow. We've discussed this before too.
Yeah,
Um, that's like one of my other like big interests or hobbies.
I love your crafting lives. I never managed to join them live. I see a lot of people doing lives that are so cool, and for some reason or another, I can't join them. Or sometimes, like I will put them on while doing something, like a puzzle or something, and so I
Yeah,
can't comment, so I don't feel like I'm participating.
it
But I
still
love the
counts.
concept.
Yes.
Okay, so then the next question is, a book that we have both read and if we have different opinions. So we have read several books, and because we are going to do a double interview, and this one I'm posting in my channel, as people can see, and then mine I'm going to post. So I thought we could talk about one of the books.
Yeah.
So you pick one and then I'll talk about the other one when you interview me.
Yeah. So the one that actually like I thought of Amber and Clay, but I'm like, okay, I feel like you should be the one to talk about that one. And I know we read The Beautiful Ones together, which I loved and I think you were more middling on. But the book that I actually thought about, maybe because we've been talking a lot about it recently, is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater,
Oh yeah,
which is not actually a buddy read, but I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like we've talked about it enough that it
Mhm.
feels like a buddy read, which I
Yeah.
love. Um, so like I feel like that is one that is really indicative of like where our tastes overlap.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Cause like it's cozy but also really like biting social commentary.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah.
Um there's a great romance and it made me so happy that you've been loving those books. Like I love talking to you about those books and I know that we're both very impressed by just Olivia Atwater as a human being.
Yes, yes.
And as a writer. So yeah, so I would say for that one we have pretty similar
Yeah,
thoughts. We
yeah.
both really love it.
Yeah, I actually I joined the Olivia's Patreon, and you were like, "Oh, I'm
Hmm.
also in her Patreon." We were both like,
Yeah, yeah.
we're both like Olivia Atwater fangirls.
Yes,
So yeah,
I
that
love
one
it.
is a perfect choice. Oh, exchange book recommendations. So here you should recommend a book to me.
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna try and be concise, but I have multiple ones for you, so I'll try
Yeah,
to keep it
yeah.
short. A Face Like Glass by Frances Harding. I feel like you would just love Frances Harding in general, especially given the kind of middle grade that we have loved and talked about together. And A Face
Yeah.
Like Glass is, I think, one that might be good for you to start with because it's got like a
Uh,
certain kind of like whimsy and like darkness to it. Did I gift you that maybe? I
no,
don't remember.
I read one that with the read along that you were doing. I think
Yeah,
were you doing it with Olivia?
with Hannah.
Oh, with Hannah, yes. Um, uh, but I don't remember which one it was. It was about a girl who lived like underground.
That was it. Okay, so you read
Oh,
A Face
I
Like
loved it.
Glass.
Okay, I
Yeah,
loved it. Yes.
I also think you would really love Gullstruck Island by her. That's another one. But just Frances Harding in general, I feel like you
Yeah.
would continue to really enjoy her books. And then also Sylvia Moreno Garcia, I think, is an author you would really like. And I feel like, especially Gods of Jade and Shadow, for some
Mm.
reason, that's one of the ones that I feel like you would really get on with. It's set in the 1920s in Mexico, and it deals with like Mayan mythology. And it's such a cool book. And it's also kind of like an adventure story in a way that I don't usually like, but she does it really well. And I feel like you would really love like the characters and the relationships. Um, and just the overall like tone and feeling. So I feel like you would love that one. And then finally, I have a couple of nonfiction recommendations for you,
Okay.
and
Okay.
they're both women who write feminist essays on ancient Rome. Like this is very
Oh,
specific.
that sounds
Ancient Rome or
perfect.
Greece. Yeah, ancient Rome and ancient Greece. Emma Southen, she specifically writes about ancient Rome, and like she has a book coming out later this year called A Rome of One's Own that is,
Oh,
yeah.
I think I have it in my radar. Yeah,
Yeah. So the ones that I've
because
read
of
from
the
her so
title.
far, yes, the ones I've read from her so far are A Fatal Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum,
Oh,
which is about murder in ancient Rome, and then her biography on Agrippina, because that's another book that we both loved, is Cleopatra by Stacy Schiff, and this I
yeah.
feel like is sort of kind of in that vein. I feel like she writes with more humor, but I love her. And then Pandora's Jar by Natalie Haynes, I think you would love. She writes about like that collection is about like the women from ancient Greek history and mythology and stories, and just like the women that she chooses and her opinions about them. I'm like, I love you. Yes. Like I I am a Clytemnestra apologist. I really love that. That's one of my niche opinions, but yeah, so those
I've
are
heard
my
you, I think I've heard you mention it in a video before, and I actually
yes.
don't know anything about her. So I
Yeah.
will I will keep your views on her whenever I find out about her.
Yeah, she's the one like you might have heard. I feel like her name isn't used a lot, of course, because she's a female
Mhm.
character.
Yeah.
But she's the one whose husband is Agamemnon, who is like one of the
Oh,
big,
okay. Yeah, I've
yeah,
heard of him. Of
yeah,
course,
one of
I've
the
heard about
big
the husband.
players, one of the big players in the Trojan War,
Mhm.
and he sacrifices one of their daughters to get a favorable wind for sailing, and Clytemnestra's pretty upset about it.
Yeah.
And so then later, her and her boyfriend, like I don't think this is a spoiler because it's like a few thousand years old, but they murder him, and we're supposed to view Clytemnestra as like the worst bad guy, and I'm like, okay, but
He did
I'm
murder her child,
yeah,
though.
I'm giving you my very biased opinion, but and also like I don't believe in spoiling classics just because they're classics, but I feel like in this case, like the Trojan War is so well known that
Especially ancient classics. I
yeah,
feel like if you're like, I'm going to read The Count of Monte Cristo and you tell me the end, it's like
yeah,
for ancient classics because it's very ingrained in people. Like you've heard about it,
yeah. It's
even if you
like
haven't read
Romeo
it.
and Juliet. I think
Yeah,
everybody
exactly.
knows
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
ending, so
Exactly.
I'm not gonna assume that people are okay if I spoil other Shakespeare plays that are less well known. But that one, I feel
Exactly.
like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
I
agree.
feel like you can talk about Romeo and Juliet being a tragedy, and it's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
So,
I did a video about the Mio Cid, which is a medieval poem.
yes, I'm
And
excited
I
for that
was
one.
talking about that because when I was telling what it was about, I was like, do I spoil this or do I not spoil this? This is medieval, but like, it was so funny. Yeah. But
I skipped a little bit of that part because I'm like, okay, I really want to read this, so I
yeah,
don't want to know like all the
exactly.
details.
I
Yeah.
do the same. I do the same. But I was like, I feel like this poem, not most people are not going to pick it up
Mhm.
necessarily. So I'll just go ahead and tell what it's about. And if someone wants to pick it up, they can just skip that part.
Yes.
Okay, so the next question would be exchange book mail. And here I was going to we talked about this. We live in different countries. So I live in Mexico and you live in the US. And so exchanging book mail is not super easy. So we have exchanged things in the past. And so I thought we could just talk about what we have gifted each other in the past.
Yeah. So you sent me this lovely package of picture books, Mexican picture books. Um, and I love one of them is about textiles too. Like you know
Yeah.
me so well. And you included like a wonderful little note and like translations and things and like that just was such like that was such a thoughtful present because like I feel like the books that you picked and like the things that you said about them like it was very clear that like we know each other very well and that means a lot. And I've already read two of the three. Like one of them also is the Popol Vuh, which I love
Okay.
reading about different like folklore or like legends or like important stories to different cultures and everything. So that was something that was also very cool. And I am still working my way through the textile one because I'm like really enjoying using that to kind of work on my Spanish, which like used to be better than it is. But yeah, you're a very excellent like gift giver and like writer of notes. And you also made me these beautiful bookmarks that I cannot get over. For Amber and Clay. I use them all the time. I should have actually got one out, but like I'm using them right now.
That makes me
So
so happy to hear. You know the love languages thing?
yes,
My love language is gift giving, and
that's
I
one of
think
mine
like
too.
I this week I got like a big box from Amazon that is full of Christmas gifts. I know that we are barely in August, but starting August, I start thinking and planning Christmas gifts. I'm like, okay, let's get this early.
Yeah. No, I do that too. I am an early gift planner. And it's definitely one of my primary love languages as well. So I feel you. Like also, it's not just like planning so that you're ready. It's like you got to have ideas so that when you
Exactly.
come
Yes.
across things,
Yes,
you're
exactly.
you can jump
Yes.
on them.
Yeah.
So I
And then
understand.
when you find the perfect gift, you have to get it because why then you don't find something as perfect? So it's
Yes.
exactly. And then finally, I think, oh, exchange booktube memories. I think we've been exchanging a
Right.
lot of
That's kind of the
memories
tag.
throughout
Yeah.
the conversation. I
Yeah.
don't know if you have one final, because that's the final question before tagging. And I think we can tag, I don't know if you want to tag someone or,
I I should have thought about that more. Like
yeah,
I did think about it, but I'm like, I don't know who specifically would like
yeah, because
be
it's
able
a
to do
particular tag. It's a
yeah.
particular kind of tag. Okay.
Maybe what I'll do is that after I will like do some research and
Yes,
maybe
exactly. Like in an outro.
yes, and maybe like talk to a couple other people who I know do tags and it's like, "Hey, is this something you'd be interested in?" So
Yeah, yeah, that's
maybe we'll
perfect.
do that.
Okay, perfect. Well, that would be it for your questions then. So then we can do the other way around.
Yes. You
And
are a very good interviewer, by the way.
oh, thank you. I think at the end I kind of got the hang of it better. At the beginning, I was like, okay, yes, question one.
Okay, so scene.
So that was it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the interview. It was a super fun tag to do. If you enjoyed it and you think you would like to do it with your own booktube buddy, then please go ahead and tell me about it. I would love to watch it. This is a not a new tag, and I think when Christy uploaded her video, I told her, oh my gosh, I already talked to a friend, I'm totally going to do it. And that was like almost a year ago. But here I am, finally. I really wanted to do this tag. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy this. Please go to Cara's channel to watch the second half where she interviews me, and go like, subscribe to her channel as well. And that would be it for today because it was a long video. I will see you soon-ish with another bookish video. I am not sure if I have uploaded a video previous to this or not, and I am not sure when I will post video after this. Hopefully I managed to film a bunch of videos that I can upload and schedule, because I will be going on a long trip in October because it's my sister's wedding. Yay. So I don't know if I will be uploading videos or not. Future me will know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soonish.